Good morning everyone, Gajan here in beautiful Mumbai, India, and this is a special one. We've networked with a few people here, some awesome, talented individuals, and we're gonna put together a fashion shoot. And this doesn't happen without this little secret weapon right here. It's a light meter, and we're gonna demystify this for you today. Let's get this started. Welcome back everyone, and everything we use today, everything we try out, you'll find a link in the description, so don't worry about that. Now, why on earth would anyone want to use a light meter? Because your camera has a light meter. Well, the difference here is that a camera measures reflective light. The light meter in there measures, quite literally, the light that reflects from your subject. Using a dedicated light meter, you can take a reading on your subject, and with that, you get a more accurate reading. Another benefit with light meters is that you can use it to measure independent lights. If you have 2 or 3 different lights set up, you can measure them and build recipes. And this is great when you're looking to replicate certain lighting looks. And lastly, most importantly, you're gonna save time. With this level of accuracy and setup and knowing the recipe that you wanna concoct, you're gonna be able to focus on your shoot and get more time back in your pocket. For my productions, I use the Sekonic 478D. As you see, I had to look just to make sure I got that number right. Sekonic provides an entry-level model as well as a more advanced version. The reason I picked up the 478D is because it also measures the percentage of ambient light. How this works is when you actually take a reading, it'll give you a percentage as to how much of the light is from your light sources versus your ambient light. If you want your image to be entirely from your flashes, you want that 100%. Every 10-stop difference is about 1 stop of light loss and coming from the ambient light. And if you're wondering why you'd want to go with an advanced model, well, if you want to do high-speed sync measurements or you want your flash duration, if that's important to your production, that'd be the only reason really to upgrade to a higher-end model. The Sekonic 478 is really easy to use. It has a touch screen, it's really simple, and it takes its measurements from the meter itself, like so. You hit one button and it'll take a reading from your flash, your light source. Now you can also recess the light meter itself, and you'd want to do this if you want to take a reading from just another fill light or your secondary light, and you didn't want to be impacted by your key light, your main light. All right, so now you know the gear that I'm using, why I chose this specific model, and what it can do. Now, how does this all come together? Your lighting will make or break your image, and being able to control that with a high level of accuracy will ultimately give you the result that you're looking for. So, using the light meter, what we want to do is create lighting recipes, these contrast ratios where you know a power source of one light versus another. For example, comparing this light source to this one over here, the difference in power is your contrast ratio. Now this might get tricky, but I have to say this. As you double your ratio, you're increasing by a 1-stop difference between your light sources. For example, if you have a 1-to-1 ratio, it means they're firing at the same power. The light meter will read them at the same power, and therefore no difference in light. If I want to go to a 2-to-1 ratio, the difference would be 1 stop between this light. That is, this light would be 1 stop lower. Now, say you want to get really moody, you really want to bring out those shadows, you then have this light be 2 stops lower than your main key light. Understanding contrast ratios is actually a lot easier than I'm even making it sound, and you can find charts available online. I'll have a link in the description as well. Having a light meter is especially useful when you're working outdoors. You have a really powerful light source in the sun, and being able to wield that to your advantage and understanding how that's impacting your image before you even press down on the shutter is super powerful. For example, if you want your sun as your key light, you can have your subject facing the sun, take a reading on their face, and have your edge light or your fill light come in and take a measurement on that to create a contrast ratio there. Or, for example, you want the sun in the background and you don't want to blow out the background. In that scenario, you take a reading of the ambient environment and then take a measurement with your other light in front of the subject, this now being your key light. And you'd build a ratio that would expose for the background as well as your subject, and making sure that ratio is pretty close together, again, if you want to be able to see the background. And what if you want to completely black out the background? You want to hide the sun and its effects, but you're outdoors. Well, again, with a light meter, you'll know exactly what power output, shutter speed, ISO you need to be at to get the intended result. as you progress through your photography career, the time that you invest in each production becomes more and more critical. Having a light meter with you, and I'll be honest here, really helps you get back some of those resources, that time, cost savings, so you can get back to work a lot sooner. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys found that useful. This production would not be possible without the immense amount of help that we had here in Mumbai. A link to their bios and their social feeds is in the description, so go ahead and show them some love. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, be sure to let me know in the comments. Again, my name's Gadjan, and I'll see you next time.